Hey, hi everyone. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Let's wait for everyone to join in, and we'll begin this webinar in a couple of minutes. Just a minute or so, and we are good to go. We'll start the webinar in another minute. So let's begin with this webinar. Hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar of Lead Assignment and Distribution Automation. Today, I will be talking about one of the leading productivity app called Lead Assignment and Distribution Automation. Now, before we go ahead, just to outline this webinar, all the lines for all the participants during the webinar will be muted. In case if you have any questions, please use the chat window. At the end of the webinar, I'll try to cover as many questions as possible, if not all. My name is Ninad, and I am the Business Development Manager for iNogic. Speaking of iNogic, we are a leading service provider and ISV for past more than a decade. We have exclusive Dynamics 365 products. We are very much active in the Dynamics 365 community, and our blogs are very much popular and appreciated by the community. We truly believe in the philosophy of one-click solution, which is building productivity apps that reduces multiple steps which otherwise a CRM user has to take. As you can see on this slide, we have various applications on the offering. I would like to take a moment and very briefly describe some of them. The first one that I want to touch base is Maplytics. Maplytics is certified for Microsoft Dynamics 365. It helps businesses around the world to plot, plan, visualize, and analyze the Dynamics CRM data on the map and offers seamless mapping services. Key features include managing territories, route optimization, smart appointment planner, and many more. One of my favorite apps from the bouquet is the SharePoint Security Sync app. It is a comprehensive solution for integrating Dynamics 365 with SharePoint. It also synchronizes the security privileges from Dynamics 365 to SharePoint and ensures secure, reliable access to all your confidential data. Another pearl that we have is the User Adoption Monitor. It's a fantastic tool that lets the managers monitor how their users are adapting to Dynamics CRM. Apart from developing these awesome applications, we are also SI. We do assist partners and customers with offshore development services. In case you have a world-changing idea, I would request you to get in touch with us at crm@inogic.com. So let's see the agenda for today's session. Firstly, I will be talking about the challenges that the organization mostly faces while assigning the leads automatically, followed by a live demonstration. And towards the end, I will open the floor for your questions. So here are some of the common challenges that most organizations usually face when it comes to automatic lead assignment or record assignment. The first and the foremost is cherry picking of the leads. The sales representative or the service representative or any CRM user can cherry pick the records based on their convenience. Further, in native CRM, there is no provision to distribute the leads in an organized manner. Even the distribution of the leads cannot take place fairly, which means the record cannot be assigned to the team members based on their available capacity. We also don't have any provision to keep track of the leads which are assigned to the team members. Now let's see how lead assignment and distribution automation can overcome these challenges. Here are some of the key features that lead assignment and distribution automation has to offer. The first one is even distribution. In even distribution, the records are assigned to the resources in a sequential and a circular pattern using the round robin algorithm. Don't worry about the algorithm. I will be explaining the algorithms that lead assignment and distribution automation supports very shortly. Next is the fair distribution. Now, in fair distribution, the records are assigned to the resources based on the available capacity of the resources. Then we also allow the criteria selection. Now, in criteria selection, you can create rules based on certain criteria. Any record that satisfies the criteria will be taken into consideration. If the record does not satisfy any criteria, it won't be considered. The next is queues. The entire process of lead assignment and distribution automation is based on queues. We will be deep diving the queues very soon. Dashboards. All the data that is accumulated by lead assignment and distribution automation is in a report friendly manner. This means that you can create your own Power BI dashboard, or you can also create CRM charts and dashboards to visualize the data. Last but definitely not the least is the entity support. One of the best features of lead assignment and distribution automation is that it not only supports the lead entity, but any of the out of the box entities as well as the custom entity. Now, let's see the algorithms that are currently supported by lead assignment and distribution automation with a small example. Now, on your screen, on the left hand side, you can see the round robin algorithm, and on the right hand side, you can see a capacity algorithm. Now, on the left hand side, you can also see a criteria that has been applied. Now, the criteria says existing customers is equal to no. Now, if the lead that is being created is not for an existing customer, only in that case, it would go to the pre-sales queue, which is nothing but the round robin algorithm here. However, if the lead that is being created is for an existing customer, then rather than the pre-sales queue, it will go to the post-sales queue, which is nothing but the capacity algorithm. So what exactly is this round robin algorithm? Let us say, for an example, a lead is being created where the customer is not an existing customer. So the selection criteria of the pre-sales queue is satisfied, and hence that lead will fall in this pre-sales queue. This means that record can be assigned to Sam or John or Mary. So the first lead that is being created will be assigned to Sam, the second lead will be assigned to John, and the third lead will be assigned to Mary. The fourth lead will be again assigned to Sam, the fifth one to John, and so on. Quite simple, isn't it? Now let's see on the right hand side the capacity algorithm. Here you will see a small difference, a very subtle difference. Now that difference is of the capacity. This means that for any lead that is falling in the post sales queue, the available capacity of the resource will be taken into consideration before assigning the lead to the record. Let us assume that to serve a lead that falls in the post sales queue, the resource needs at least 25 units of capacity. So if a new lead is being created for an existing customer, as per the selection criteria, it will definitely fall in the post sales queue. Now, in the current situation, we see that Missy, the resource, does not have any available capacity as she has exhausted all her units. The next one is Jacob. Currently, he has the available capacity of 50. Now, if the lead is assigned to him, 25 units from his available capacity will be reduced, and then he would be left with only 25 units. The next lead would be assigned to Lena. Currently, she has an available capacity of 100. Once the lead is assigned to Lena, 25 units from her available capacity will be reduced, and Lena would be left with only 75 units. Once these resources like Missy or Jacob and Lena close any of the record that are assigned to them, that's when the 25 units would be added back to their available capacities, and they are again available. They are available in the game for the new resources or the new records to be allocated to them. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into a demo. So let me open up the demo part for you. Now consider an example. Now let's say there is an organization who receive their leads from their website, or for that matter, any resource from wherever they are getting the lead, but that lead comes to this CRM system. And now they want these leads to be assigned to the right person based on a certain criteria. And that criteria is whether the lead is a hot lead, warm lead, or cold lead. Now, for the demonstration purpose, I have pre-populated the lead, and I have created a few set of assignment rules that will help me assign this lead automatically to the right person. Now, here you can see that currently I am the owner of this record. This is the lead that is getting created under my name, Ninad Deshpande. Now, because that's the user under which the records are created in the CRM. So let me go ahead and change the rating of this lead. So I'll change the rating from warm to, let's say, hot. And now I'll go ahead and save this. Now, once I save this lead, in a matter of few seconds, this record would be assigned to the right person. Now, how does this work? So let me explain to you how exactly is this going to work. Now, I have already created the hot lead assignment rule in which I have a few set of users, Andrews, Kivil, and Smith. Now, on the screen, you may notice that Andrews is currently having 4 active records, Kivil is working on 3 active records, and Smith is working on 4 active records. So once the lead assignment and distribution automation does its work, the lead that I have just created for my Earther will be assigned to one of them. So let me just go ahead and let me try to click on refresh, and let's see whether the lead has been allocated to one of the resource. And here you see that now the active records for Kivel, which was previously 3, has now been changed to 4. This means the lead that I have created just now has been assigned to Kivel. Let me go back to my Sales app and let me just click refresh over here. But before I click refresh, remember that I was the owner of this lead. So let me click on refresh. And here you will see that the ownership has changed. This particular lead that was previously owned by me is now owned by Kivel. You can imagine the number of hours or the time that it can save for the person who would be, manually looking at the rating of the lead and then assigning it to the right person. Now, let me quickly explain to you what it takes in order for the lead assignment and distribution automation to work properly. Once the lead assignment and distribution automation is installed in your system, you will see a few entities. Now, the most important one that you would like to begin with is the assignment configuration. So let me just open this assignment configuration for you. Basically, you need to enable the entities which would be leveraging lead assignment and distribution automation functionality. Remember, in the beginning, I had mentioned that this application not only supports the lead entity, but any of your out-of-box and custom entity. So in my case, I have created the configuration for lead and case entity. Now, for the demonstration purpose, I will be working only on the lead entity. The case entity is just for representational purpose. Let me open the lead entity and explain to you what rules I have created. Now, initially, I have got 2 assignment rules. The first assignment rule is the leads from web, and the second assignment rule is the hot leads assignment rule. By the way, this was the assignment rule that made it possible just few minutes back for changing of the ownership from my name to Kivel. So let's look what exactly we have defined in the hot leads assignment rule. Once I open this hot leads assignment rule, you will notice that we have some basic information like the name. In this case, the name I have kept it as hot leads assignment rule. The assignment configuration. Now, of course, I'll be working on the lead entity, and hence the assignment configuration is kept for lead. Then there is an optional description. Great. Now, moving ahead, once I have this, let's go to the execution criteria. Now, in the execution criteria, the first thing that is very, very important is the criteria mode. Now, here we support 2 different criteria mode. One is the simple criteria mode, and the second one is the advanced. You may have noticed that I have already selected the advanced. In the simple criteria mode, you would be presented with most of your existing system views related to the lead record or the lead entity, and you can select any one of them. You can also select the advanced mode, just like I had selected, and you can provide your own fetch XML over here. Then comes the execution order. Now, this execution order is extremely useful in case you plan to create multiple rules on the same entity. In our case, we are working on the lead entity. So in case if you want to apply more than one rule, then this execution order will be of prime importance. In such cases where you have more than one rule, each rule will be executed in the sequential manner based on the execution order. So the rule with execution order 0 will be executed first, rule with execution order 1 will be executed next, and so on. And whichever rule under where the criteria is getting satisfied first, that would be taken into consideration and remaining would be ignored. So if your criteria is getting satisfied in execution order 0 rule, that will be taken into consideration and the rest of the rules will be ignored. Then comes the queue. Now, the queue, like I said, is probably one of the most important aspect of this assignment rule. Now, let me just click this queue and show what exactly is there in the queue first of all. Now, a queue is where basically we define the members that will be the part of the room. Now, remember some time back, I had visualized about the three users. Now, that was possible just because all the three users are present in this particular queue. Let me just go back. Now, here, if I just go on the user workload tab, you will notice the three users. Now, these three users can be seen here just because all these three users are part of the same queue. Let me just scroll down and let's see what exactly are the assignment properties. Now, this is where this is the place where I'm going to define the assignment algorithm. Now, in our case, we'll be using the round robin algorithm, but we have two options. Now, since this rule is using the round robin algorithm, I'm going to select the round robin. Now, next comes the maximum work items allowed. Now, this basically defines the maximum number of records that can be assigned to the queue member. Now, here I have defined the value as 10. This means 10 cases can be assigned to each user. But this also gives a rise to a question. 10 cases when? Whether the 10 cases are allowed daily, or the 10 cases are allowed weekly, or 10 cases are allowed monthly, or forget about it. I want 10 cases overall. Now, this question is answered by the next one, which is period. The period takes four options. So if I have set the maximum work items allowed to be assigned as 10, and if I select daily, this means for every user present in this queue, 10 items can be assigned on a daily basis. If I select weekly, it means 10 items can be assigned on a weekly basis, maximum, and so on. Now, let me just switch back to my presentation to provide you with some more clarity. Now, in this example, we had three resources, Sam, John, and Mary. Now, if Sam has already been occupied or has been assigned with 10 records in his name, then he will not be considered for any new lead that is being created. Rather, any new lead that is being created would be assigned to either John or Mary till the time even they don't hit a maximum capacity of 10 records. Now, why only 10 records? That's because this is what we have defined in the configuration. As soon as Sam, John, or Mary moves their record from open new status to any other status like qualify or disqualify, they will again be eligible for new leads that are being created. In very rare case, if all the three resources are occupied with maximum 10 records, then the new leads that are being created would sit in the pre-sales queue itself. Great. The next one is the open work item statuses. Now, this field helps you to select the statuses on which the job is considered as open. This field is relative on the entity that is being configured. Now, like in our case, this rule is being configured on the lead entity, and hence this field shows the statuses that are related only to the lead entity. Had this been any other entity, maybe like appointment, call, or any other entity, then the corresponding fields will be available in this field. So this is all about the round robin algorithm. Now let's see what is required to configure the capacity algorithm. Let me just go back, and here it is. So I have got one more assignment rules which is going to use the capacity algorithm. So let me just open this assignment rule for you. Now, the majority of the information, the name, the assignment configuration, the optional description, the criteria mode, the execution order, they are pretty much similar to the round robin algorithm. Then what exactly is the difference? Now, the only difference I would say is the unit effort required for work item. So let us assume that each resource requires a certain unit to complete a task. For example, in our case, let us assume that to process the assigned lead, a resource requires, let's say, 5 units. Now, in simple words, to completely process 2 assigned records, a resource will require 10 units. To completely process 3 assigned records, a resource will require 15 units, and so on. Now, the question that arises is, where do we define the base capacity on each resource? Or what exactly is the base capacity of each resource? Let me show that as well. So I'll go to the user workload. You'll notice there are 3 users in this. Let me try to open one of the users. Let's say Jones in this case. And there is an assignment details tab. The moment I click on the assignment details tab, you will notice that here is where we define the base capacity. In this case, we have defined the base capacity to be 20. And you will also notice that the available capacity is 10. Oh, this means that Jones has already consumed 10 units. Now, as per our assumption, to process the assigned lead, a resource requires 5 units. This means that Jones is already working on 2 leads. Now, let's confirm this. Let me go back to the user workload. Here is my Jones, and the Jones is, yes, he's actually working on the 2 active records. So basically, if you want to assign a lead to any resource, we just have to ensure that that resource has minimum 5 units in their available capacity. Now, let's time for a fun fact. By default, the system assigns the leads to the users alphabetically. Now, this means that the first lead that is being created in the system will be assigned to David. David, D is alphabetically starting with D. So the first lead that will be assigned will be for David. However, you can control this behavior. Notice the column sequence here. Now, you may use this column to achieve this. Let's say I don't want the first lead to be assigned alphabetically. I want to have my own sequence, and where I want the first lead should be assigned for Howard. So I can just go here and I can mention that this Howard should be assigned first, David can be assigned second, and Jones can be assigned third. So if you start doing this, if you start using this, the leads will be assigned as per the sequence numbers that you have given. So let me just make it back to 1, 2, and let's see, 3. Great. However, don't forget that for the lead to be assigned to any user, they must have minimum 5 units in their available capacity. Let me go back to general. Let me see the rest of the assignment properties, wherein the assignment algorithm, I've selected it as capacity. The next is unit effort required for work item, we just discussed it to be 5, and the remaining properties like maximum work items allowed to be assigned, the period, and the open work item statuses, they are same as that of the round robin algorithm. So this is what it takes to define the capacity algorithm. During the features of the lead assignment and distribution automation, we discussed that one of the features that we discussed was dashboards. Let me show this dashboards for you. Now, the moment you have this dashboard is giving us some data. It says assigned records by today. Every user is color coded, and here you will notice at what time which lead was assigned to which user. Now, some time back, remember we had a a lead that was assigned to Kivel. You can find it over here. So Kivel has got one record, and it was the time of assignment was this. You can also have assigned versus unassigned. So how many leads do you have in your CRM? How many leads have already been assigned? How many leads are still not assigned to anyone? One of the reasons the leads are not being assigned might be that those leads are not satisfying the criteria. Now, it's always important that the records that are satisfying the criteria, only those will be considered for assignment. And of course, you can have active assignment logs by entity. Now, for this demonstration purpose, we only worked on lead entity. But in the real world, if you have configured multiple entities, you will get all the data over here. Now, let me take this moment here and let me start with an interesting poll. So, in your organization, which entity you would like to enable for auto assignment? I'm launching a small 30-second poll. Okay, so I've already started getting a responses. Someone saying lead, case, nice. So last 5 seconds. Okay, thank you for casting your vote. Now, you know what? I think I can go for one more quick poll. So, which feature do you think will be the most useful for your organization? So, let's go ahead. Let's launch this poll for just 30 seconds. So, whether it is assignment based on round robin fashion, the user capacity, automatic assignment support for all the out of box and custom entities. Last 10 seconds. Oh, that's lovely. So we have got a mixed thing. We have got some of them are saying a round robin fashion, user capacity, assignment for all. Great. Thank you once again for participation in this particular small poll. So let me switch back. This was about the live demo. Now the lead automation and the lead assignment and the distribution automation is supported from CRM version 9.x and above. It is also supported on premise as well as in the online environment. So, impressed with the lead assignment and distribution automation and want to get hands-on? It's really simple. All you have to do is go to Microsoft AppSource and search for lead assignment and distribution automation. Also, you can download it from our website, inogic.com, and then import the solution. In either case, you will have a 15 days trial period to get hands-on the application. So that's pretty much from my side. Now, I open the floor for any questions. Just one request. If you remember at the start, we had said that all the lines will be muted. So if you have any question, please use the chat window. Okay. So apart from, I just got some questions. Apart from lead and case entity, which other can be configured in the assignment configuration? Oh, that's a great question. So basically, you have got a lot of other entities. You have got the appointment, campaign activity, the campaign response, customer voice alert. Basically, if you just to summarize, any entity that are enabled for queue can be configured in the assignment configuration. Okay, the product looks good. From where I can DL it? Thank you first of all for your kind words. I'm just assuming that DL here specifically says download. So just mention you have a couple of sources. You can go on Microsoft AppSource as well as on our website, and you'll be eligible for the 15 days trial. Great. So the next one is a big thank you. I would like to thank each and everyone for attending this webinar. It was my real pleasure to present the lead assignment and distribution automation to everyone, and we hope you liked and enjoyed it as well. Thank you.